Harare is Mandevu village. The original name for this village is Luamba Farm. It is a highly populated community and has more than 700 households which house more than 10,000 people. The houses are clearly and closely packed, making it very difficult for villagers to practice social distancing. Our crew caught up with Juliet Tontlana, who managed to give us a brief background of the Mandevu village. Let's listen to what she had to say.
This project is entitled Internally Displaced Persons and COVID-19, providing information as well as putting in place informal settlements COVID-19 protect. It is being funded through the UK Research and Innovations Global Challenges Research Fund and Newton Fund Agile Response for COVID-19. This is a rapid response project which focuses on internally displaced persons residing in 2 informal settlements in Zimbabwe's capital, Harare, namely Mandevu and Epworth. Zimbabwe is among the latest countries in the Southern African region to be affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. The Zimbabwe government has responded well to the pandemic, providing information as well as putting in place and monitoring COVID-19 protective measures. As with other countries across the globe, it has also faced a number of challenges. One such challenge is within low-income communities such as informal settlements. Internally displaced persons are an economically disadvantaged and secluded population who live in crowded conditions with limited access to the critical public health, information, and resources needed to protect themselves against COVID-19. In this regard, they have limited access to clean running water, soap, and sanitizers, and their situation has been compounded by a lengthy lockdown, and this has worsened their economic hardships. The project has brought together a team of experts from 3 Zimbabwe universities, including Dr. Godfrey Chagwiza from the Zimbabwe Ezekiel Guti University, our key Zimbabwe university, which has developed the innovations we are adapting. Dr. Julita Maradzika from the University of Zimbabwe is providing public health education expertise. Professor Evelyn Garwe from the Women's University in Africa is an education specialist who is also overseeing our activities in Zimbabwe. And from our 2 UK universities, we have myself, Dr. Juliet Tontlana, an education and migration specialist from the University of Nottingham, and I am the lead researcher for the project. We also have Dr. Rhoda Madziva, also from the University of Nottingham, who is our sociology expert. From the University of Wolverhampton, we have public health education specialist, Dr. Moses Murandu. Our local NGO partner, the National AIDS Network of Zimbabwe, led by Mr. Mark Chikanza, has an existing relationship with the settlements, and they are critical for accessing the settlements and interacting with the relevant government departments.
I was actually coordinating this team from Zimbabwe and working in 2 communities, Lumanda and Epworth, and definitely the project was an eye-opener. We were able to transform the community, and when I mean transform, it means that when we started, we found a community that did not have any means of preventing COVID. But we were able to come in with innovations that they adapted to suit their own conditions. And they were also able to tell us their other problems, so that together we were able to come up with solutions. Now they can make soap, now they can sew things, and they even have orders from the communities, schools, and all other establishments. And that is really great. But for me, what I really liked is the impact that they made. The innovations that we put out there were actually admired by even big companies that then came and learned from them. But they didn't only learn, they also started actually benefiting the community by doing other things for them. So we made these communities visible also to the outside world. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Approximately how long is this taking you?
This has taken 18 months. So we started in 2020 and we are ending now in 2021.
Mm-hmm. We did not hear of any major cases, if any. How many people were affected with the COVID-19, and do you have any fatalities as far as the deaths are concerned?
0 fatalities. And as I said, this is a community where people are fully paid. But we didn't have any fatalities because they were able, through the education that we gave them and also those innovations, to protect themselves. And when the vaccination started, because they are a bit isolated, they were not able to come to places where they were queuing for vaccines. And through the project, we were able again to take vaccination into the community.
Hi, I'm Jalpa Ruparelia, and I'm a research fellow on this project. And I started on the project in December 2020. The project had been going for a couple of months before I started, and it seemed a really interesting project because Professor Juliet Tonolana explained what it was about. So I applied and I was lucky enough to get it. So when I initially started on the project, I worked with Mark looking at the quantitative data that he had collected with his team, questioning the communities, the people living in the settlements about their methods of protecting themselves against COVID-19. And we looked through the data and we tried to prioritize what was important for them, whether the messages were getting through and so on. And then my role has been to support the team in whichever way they want. So I write reports, I collect all the stuff that they produce so that I can write the reports. I'm helping with creating a website for the project so that we can spread the message about what we are doing. And we're also thinking about how to evaluate what we're doing as the project is nearing an end. The project has been really interesting because what we have discovered from all the work being done in Zimbabwe is that the communities feel so excited about all the work that has been going on, and they feel as if they finally have a voice. And they have taken charge of all the different activities. They have just said, we would like this, we would like that. So it's been really interesting to see how the project has, from initial plans, how it's changed and how it's benefited the communities. Professor Evelyn and I have worked to develop posters aimed at children, and then Professor Evelyn has carried on with that work, and she has used the posters as part of an activity where a van was covered with the posters, went through the settlements, passing the message about how to protect against COVID-19. And it was wonderful to see. I really appreciate all the hard work that they have put in. And it seems like we're achieving a lot in such a short space of time, especially with communities that are possibly not part of the main discourse in the country. So yes, I have really enjoyed working on the project, and I wish them all the best for everything in the future, and hope that...
My name is Dr. Rhoda Madziva, and I am an associate professor in sociology at the University of Nottingham in the UK. I have a history of working with the informal settlement population, especially the Mandef community. This includes a scoping study which I undertook in 2019 in collaboration with the National AIDS Network of Zimbabwe. This study has revealed the dire situation of the informal settlement population, particularly the inadequate and cramped living conditions in the informal settlements. It was therefore important to help the communities fight COVID-19. As for my role on the project, I have participated in the writing of the research proposal, and following its success, I have led the development of the ethics protocol, and this covers the ethical clearance or ethical approval process. I have also contributed towards the research design and supported the data collection and data analysis processes. I have also participated in the development of the Matarenda Empowerment Toolkit, and this toolkit will continue to be used to support the community's entrepreneurship activity. Any future opportunity to further support these communities would be considered in order to promote their livelihoods and well-being. Thank you.
This project combines academic fields and development fields. So I represent development fields coming from the National Age Network. That is the NGO. National Age Network is a coalition of 16 NGOs working in various aspects of aging. And we have a long-standing relationship with the IGBC community. We've had previous work with them where we're looking at aging transit. We look at IGBC, these are people, most of them are now old, and never tested what is called a real home. So they've been on the move their entire lives. So when COVID-19 came, it presented unique opportunities and unique challenges to these communities, and we needed to have a full grasp of what it is that can be done to ensure that these people are not left out of COVID-19 prevention and management protocols and activities that were taking place. We looked at the WHO and various government guidelines, and we noted that a lot of them could not be made possible in a setup of an informal community. So that spelled doom for these communities. So we needed to come up with practical solutions that would help these communities. So combining an academic approach as well as a development approach, we felt gave us a wholesome picture, and it would enable us to come up with solutions that are both scientifically sound as well as practicable.
Mm-hmm. So in real practical terms, what are these solutions that you were practically offering to these various communities?
First we needed to understand what it is that is possible in these communities and what is not possible. And so we carried out a baseline survey to understand this. Is also purely academic exercise. And from those results, we then set out to develop practical solutions. So one of them, if you look at Mandevu, which is a Lumanda farm, you will see the wash stations that were then installed. We realized that it's not possible to advocate for social distancing. Even if somebody falls sick, it was not going to be possible to socially isolate in an environment like that.
Already too tightly.
It's too tightly, yeah. So our best shot was in prevention. So if you look at the siting of the wash stations, you have a full body bath right at the entrance. The good thing is with that particular community, they have a single entrance. So it was easy to install a solution like that, to deploy that kind of solution. We then also realized that there are unavoidable points for everyone. And those would be your super spreader points, which mostly is the shops where they go to, but most importantly, where they get their water, the water points. So if you then go to Mandevu, there are wash stations at every water point. But the most important weapon
that those communities have is the knowledge. And so we also imparted the knowledge in languages and in methods that they understood. So it was first to understand, methods, communication methods that are more effective to them. And those are the ones that we employed to impart COVID-19 education to them. And so when you then go to issues of compliance, it became automatic once the people understood why they needed to follow certain procedures. And you can see from the results, and I'm sure you were in the workshop, you could hear their concerns with the maintenance and how they are participating in maintaining those water points, those wash points, that they fully understand why those things are there. So it's not an issue of the law, it's an issue of personal safety and hygiene.
I would like to emphasize the fact that this innovation was progenited by students from Zimbabwe Ezekiel Guti University under the Innovation Hub, and also funded and sponsored by the Chancellor of the university in order to bring hope when this COVID-19 pandemic did spread. So the task to ensure that it serves the purpose and to ensure that we put the innovation into function entailed that we needed to also introduce the chemical aspect of things, which Elizabeth Ticharwa is leading, as well as to ensure that the innovations, when we erect them in this place, they will last for a long time, they are durable, and they will also address the purpose to which they were designed. With me to execute that task is engineer Lloyd Jiri. So that's the work we are currently doing to put up these innovations.
Just before I speak with them, what's going on behind you? I'm seeing there's a construction process that's going on.
Yes, these innovations consist that we've put here at Mandeb consist of a full body sanitization booth, which involves the process of temperature reading for individuals who will be coming out of the community and getting into this community, Mandeb community. So there is the temperature reading device, there is the hand sanitization process, and also there is a foot bath that ensures that the feet are also disinfected. And the individual passes through the booth where the full body is sanitized to ensure that as minimum as possible transmission of the COVID-19 virus or any other pathogens is limited. Then when we put up the booth, we noticed that it was important to ensure that there is maximum security for the booth. That's why we then went on to construct the guardhouse, because the guardhouse, not only is it serving the purpose of protecting the fumigation group from the elements of weather, it is also ensuring that there is a guard who will be there and operate the boom, manning the entranceway, so that everybody who gets into the Mandebo community either sanitizes their feet, their hands, and their full bodies, and also gets their temperature taken. So this is what is happening in the background, where the community has also participated in full in the construction of the guardhouse. They have brought in some other materials that are required for the work, as well as to offer their own services in terms of the construction of the guardhouse.
On the full body sanitization booth is the disinfectant. So the disinfectant is according to the World Health Organization standards. So on that one, we can ensure the community and everyone who is listening that what we have is 100% effective, and also it is safe to the environment and to the human beings. So I can guarantee you that what we have is safe.
I understand the committee members are going to be working with this. Are they buying this? Where are they going to be using this? As far as this process is concerned, where are they going to be getting these chemicals from? Are you importing them?
Okay, one of the plans is to empower the community in order for them to make the chemicals for themselves. So we will have a training program where we are going to train the community member, some of the community members, on how to make the chemicals for themselves.
When we were coming up with these innovations, what we looked for mostly was robustness, the ease of maintenance, because most of the wash stations, they are based on plastic, but we went all out on steel, and also the fumigation booth, we completely housed it. Besides just making sure that it will stay as a permanent structure for years to come, it also has changed the landscape of the place, and it also garners interest for someone to just say, I'll pass through the fumigation booth, because it is properly housed and there is a robust structure that is in place. So we looked for robustness as the first thing that we have got to impart into these innovations, and we went on further to look at maintainability, ease of maintenance, because when we were looking at the community, the installations were done together with the community, so they understand and they know how these things are supposed to work, so, and they know how to maintain the equipment. And we also had the chairman, the main man around who is responsible, is the leader of the community. He was also involved in all the work, which means that he understands that the importance of the wash stations, as well as all the facilities that are around. So there was community involvement, and we made sure that in terms of maintenance, the community would be able to say if anything is broken, they just look for someone to tack it, or they bring it to our attention if it's something that is too complicated for them. Yes. So then the third thing that we also did was to train the community to be able to produce the soaps for use within these stations. So there has been training that did take place. So I want to quickly add on to that point that whilst this is a voluntary activity for the community, there is need to then come to a point where those who make the soap, they see the commercial value in partaking in that activity. Because since it's a voluntary activity for making the soap for the community, the people can just do it for a short while, and then if they get a job elsewhere, they leave. So there will be attrition of skills. The skills will disappear, and when we try to come back again, you'll find there will be fewer people with the relevant skills to continue to make the soap. So I can say that those were the efforts that we tried to ensure that there is a sustainability of the project. Yes.
And of course, we are also, on the other hand, getting them to be trained on entrepreneurship skills, using the Zayoja Forward in Faith Matarenda model of entrepreneurship, which has changed many lives and improved many livelihoods. So we are hoping that, as you rightly say, that they will be able to see the commercial value, so that, the community could, in a sense, kind of employ the people that you have trained, so that they don't see the need to just leave. But also, our plan has been that, they can also be able to train a few others on how to do these things, because life is not predictable. Somebody may have to leave for reasons beyond their control. So we are very thankful about that.
Maybe if you can say something briefly about how you have worked with the community, because we know the concept has been around co-production, co-creation.
Thank you very much. In terms of for when we came in here, every brick that you see that has been laid, it has been the skills that are found within this community. All the inputs that is including part of the sand, it was the community that did look around for those materials. So everything that is here, there was direct participation of the community. We would bring in the cement, the sheets, when you look at that building, and also the other materials that they could not really afford locally. So there is a certain level and sense of ownership. And in terms of maintenance, where we have placed the wash station here, the neighboring team, the family that is in the neighborhood, have taken full responsibility in terms of really ensuring that it is properly powered, it is properly functional. So they actually look at it as their full responsibility. And we also have got the community leader You may excuse me there, but at the time when we were implementing everything, there was a Mr. Jonasi, who we worked with. He is the leader in the community, elected by the leadership, by the community, and they really listened to him. So all the work that required local inputs, including labor, that was done by the community. When we had really come to a point where we had finished, I think you have seen that the road was repaired. Yes, they did all that repair. It was in preparation of an anticipated earlier visit. We had thought that would come earlier, but so we had really tried to spruce everything. It was the community took ownership of the project. Yes.
I would just add to what the engineers said. As ZEC worked with the private company and a team of engineers so that we could come up with these innovations. We saw the need to help the communities since the outbreak of COVID. So we are very grateful that at least we, as a university, we are able to work with private companies, with the community, trying to pass the knowledge to the community and also assisting the community to fight this pandemic. So we are so much grateful, and we think and we are sure that from the onset, when we were doing everything here, we were doing it through the leadership, and the leadership was appreciating the assistance that was coming, and they are very grateful to the funders and also to the participants. So we are very sure that these innovations will go a long way in helping the community not only to fight COVID but also to fight other infectious diseases such as cholera. And we are sure with the knowledge that has been passed to them by the engineers, they will be able to utilize these innovations. Thank you.
I am on this project as part of University of Zimbabwe College of Health Sciences, Department of Community Medicine, Department of Public Health. So I participated in preparing the proposal, and they included me because of public health. I have a PhD in public health, and also I've had experience in working in the community in the Ministry of Health. So that experience and the qualification and also the unit in which I was actually a favorite factor when we prepared the proposal. My task on this project is to provide the technical expertise in planning public health interventions. Because when we are planning public health interventions, we need to have certain approach, like working with the community. You need to plan your program, you work with the community, you plan with them, you identify needs in terms of their immediate needs. And because we actually need to do this baseline survey so that we understand the community. Now what we are doing, we are developing messages. We have developed posters, we have developed leaflets. The grass artist is developing that. But because we have this expertise, I'm actually working with Moses Urandini, who's in Wolverhampton University. He's also a public health expert, and I'm working from this side, so we are collaborating in terms of producing educational material. After that, we are going to be training the village health workers and training part of the community so that they pass on the message, because when we do a project, we need to make sure that that project has sustainability in a program. You don't come into the community and do things and then leave. This is why we are involved with the community in everything. So now even with the public health education, we are going to involve the village health workers, we are going to train them so that they can continue. And we also intend to build a communication center, almost like a house that is being built at the gate, where we are going to the village health workers are going to be meeting in there and also distributing educational material as well as giving health education. So that is the next step.
Ndoitwa Dela Lazaro Mainyabo ndichigara paLumanda Farm kuno ku Staplewood. Ndinoshandosa VHW wemuLumanda Farm ambuya utano. VHW zvinoreva Village Health Worker.
Saka sa village health worker ndezvipi zvinhu zvamuri kuita mudunhu rino iri remandebvu kuitira kuti zvibatsire vana uye kuti vanzwisise nyaya yedenda rinonzi COVID-19?
tinofanirwa kudzidzisa vana kunyangwe vanhu vakuru kusanitiza, kugeza maoko nesipo, vachisanitiza kumadhama atakaisirwa nezeg. Zvinhu zvizhinji zvatiri kutovadzidzisa nekupfeka mamaski, asi sevana vadikiwo tinotoona totoramba tichidzidzisa tichikurudzira. Sevadiki vanotonyanya kusanzwisisa. Vana vari kungoona sedambe asi chirwere chiriko cheCovid-19 nekuvadzidzisa kwatinenge tichiita. Tinenge tichitoda kuti vazive, vave neruzivo pamusoro peCovid-19 iyoyi. Vazive kuti denda ririko zvechokwadi, ndofanira kusanitiza, ndofanira kugeza maoko, ndofanira kupfeka mask. Saka zvatiri kunyanyodzidzisa kuvana vedu vechidiki vari munharaunda yedu Mandafama.
Ndezvipi zvamuri kusangana nazvo, matambudziko amuri kusangana nazvo pakuita basa renyu kuti mukudzidzisa vanhu vemuno kuti vanzwisise chinhu chinonzi COVID-19?
Dambudziko guru ratiri kusangana nayo nderekuti vamwe vacho ndingangoti vari stubborn. Anogona kukutaurira kuti inini maski nditengere, haadi kupfeka maski. Mumwe anogona kuti nguva yekuti anofanira kusanitiza akutogeza kumeso kuzoti asanitize kana kuti ageze maoko ake, ari kuita zviri opposite. Ndo zvimwe zvinhu zvatiri kusangana nazvo zvizhinji zviri kutotinetsawo munzvimbo ineyi.
Takasirwa about 7 machines. Tine 3 ma-heavy duty ne4 ma-domestic. Pama-domestic pane 2 ma-manual then 2 ma-electricity. Ese machines yedu iri kushanda. Tichitanga takatanga kutrainwa kusona mamaski. Takakwanisa kusona mamaski ari more than 1,000. 700 acho akatakurwa namaika weka because hatisina storage. Vakaenda nawo vakanomachengetedza. Tikasara tine mucheka watakasara nawo. Then from the experience we got, takatanga kusona ma-rep offers for the community. Avaiti provider nema-materials avo and everything, susu chedu taingoita labor. Takasona about 50 ma-rep offers. Akatipa $92. That $92 takakwanisa kutenga mucheka watakasona ma-mask about 120 atakaisa kuchikoro. And we are now receiving the payment from the mask atakaendesa kuchikoro. And from there takazoita ma-samples ema-uniforms. Ndobva taenda zvakare kuchikoro tichinovaratidza ma-samples edu. We had an agreement yekuti susu tichange tichiprovide ma-uniforms for ma-ECDs and ma-grade 1. Saka we are looking forward for the enrollment iri kutanga this year kuti vatipe tender. In fact tender vakatotipa asi hatisati tasvika an agreement yekuti totengesa sei zvinhu zvedu, but vakatipa tender of about 40 items per each sample dziri kudiwa kuchikoro that we are looking forward to. But the challenge yatinayo manje ndeye capital, because pamask edu atakatengesa hapana zvati zvatengwa. Pamucheka watakasara nawo dai taikwanisa taisvika kwatinosonera. Kune mapillowcases atakaita iko zvinezvi tine 40 aripo asati anyatsopera, tiri kutarisira zvakare kusupermarket.
We were supposed to train 10 of them, but because of the ego of the people, the community members who are willing to learn, they have said, we want to come 50 of us, and I said, I cannot manage. That's why we are here. We were supposed to use that dining room, but the pastor said, you can use the church as long if you cannot disturb the service days. So I want to thank the Lord very much because of Seku. Yakaita kuti community iri muno ifare, vanhu vade vari kutoda kusona, vagara vachida kusona asi masonero acho vakashaya kuti voita sei. Saka inini ndikutenda Seku nevose nemapartners ose. Zvinotongoratidza kuti tiri mapartners akawanda, nekuti unoti ukataura neuyu wataura neuyu vavariro iri yekuti chikoro ichi chibudirire, vavariro iri yekuti training ibudirire, kuti kana ivavo vakange vapedza vanozobatsirawo vamwe muno mucommunity. They are not training for themselves, they are training for the community, for this community, to help this community.
So how many machines do you receive?
Machines right now, we have got 7 brand new machines. 2 manual straight flying men, 2 overlocking machines, 1 domestic, 1 heavy duty, 2 heavy duty sewing machine, the one which it does zigzag, buttonhole and straight, and the other one we just use it for straight, but it's heavy duty. Then the other one, we have got a domestic electric zigzag sewing machine for doing the buttonholes and the other things.
And how many people are you training so far?
20. We are training 20.
They are all from this community?
All from this community. And they don't choose who is who. They don't choose because of the church. We are not from church. We church. Vanongotora inonzi community. Mucommunity imomo. Saka ndozvo yandanga ndichitaura kuti pamwe vanotopindira panapa vacho pamwe hamuna kana mune 2 kana kuti 1. Saka it's for the community.
Nharaunda tinogara ine vanhu vakawandisa chaizvo. So pavanhu varimo munharaunda muno, I think ndine about plus 10,000 people. Imba dzega dzega tina almost plus 700 households, which means nzvimbo ine yakakurisa chaizvo.
Okay, tinotenda. Taona project yamuri kubatsirwa yekuti vanhu vasanitize. Kwamuri secommunity ino yakakosherei uye ndezvipi zvamanga muchiita imimi pasati paitwa project iyi zvinoita kuti mudzivirike kubva kudenda recoronavirus?
Munoona nenharaunda nemararamiro atinoita, munoona even tikati self distance yacho so inonetsa. Chikonzero nei? Imba idzi dzakanyanya kubatana. Even as we speak muri kuona kuti vanhu mamirira vakaita social distance havagona vachipractice. Chirwere ichi chiripo zvechokwadi zvokuti kumashure way back kuti 2 months ago zvino takabvita mumafluza asingaiti. So pane pambo kuti munhu unogona kushaya help. So unongoziva kuti I don't know kuti vanhu vezego vakabvarepi ndopavavazoita venture iyi. So zvatakazoita manje kuti vanhu vaita away manje kuti chirwere ichi chiripo, takatora audio. Saka tinoti imwe nguva usiku, that is kuma 9, 8 o'clock, tinofamba nespeaker tenderera vanhu vese vakanyarara kuti tichitry kueducata vanhu. Tinoona nambuya utano ndo vamwe vandoshandidzana navo zvakanyanya. Zvinoitika ndezvekuti kana maitika urwere mukati menharaunda ino, tino-encourage each and every vanhu vanogara muno kuti anofanira kudza ambuya utano. Ambuya utano vaudza kuti pane urwere, vanova vanditaura kuti vaita urwere. Then since community it's very poor, zvatinowanza kuita kana tatadza kuti munhu aende kuchipatara, we contribute kuti munhu iye aende kuchipatara. But awareness yese COVID-19 yese hatisi kumbomira.
I am happy with this program yakatangwa nezego. Vataona kuti zvakanaka senharaunda yekwedu sezvo pane nhau yeurwere COVID-19 yatekeshera nyika yose. Saka zvava zvakanaka kuti tiunganidze nharaunda yese vavakidzani tichibatsirana nezego pakuwakwa kwe-full body sanitizer yamuri kuona apa. Tichibatsirana ndavangomirira ruzhinji rwamwe pakubatsirana nebasa nepabhumugeti panapa kuchengetedza pamusoro pevanoita income vanopinda mukati menharaunda yekwedu kuti vasanitizere maoko, kuti vapindere mumushini vakwanisa kuita kuti miri wavo wose vadzivire chirwere cheCovid-19.
Zvekusanitizwa nharaunda zvekutibatsira kuti tigara takachengetedzeka.
Chekutanga toda kutenda vakatibatsirawo nazvinhu izvozvo nokunga zvakatiitirawo nyore kuti vamwe tatisingakwanisi kutenga zvinoshandiswa, saka zvinhu zvakatiitirawo nyore. Tikangoti chinhu chinotirerukira kuti titaure nevana, tinowanzoita kunge ngano kana kuimba ndokuti vakurumbidze kuita sei kubata kuti kuti hatifanira kukwazisana maoko, tinototsvaga kari kambo kuti zviite kunge zvinonotirerukei, nekuti tikada kutraya kunyatsovatsanangurira chaizvo chaizvo kunzwanana kunenge tinotokunamidza izvi.
Ndoda kungotenda vakarongo chirongwa ichi kuti murambe makadaro, chiro chakunzi zvakupera, musaregera chiro pazvinozonzi zvanuka futi, rambai munesuwo musatisiya kutiri kunyanya kuyekwedze kwacho kwamatona kwatosara kune gepu kana mangotiwo bichani aiwa imbai matitanga kutifunga
chandinoda kunyanya kukoshesa apa icollaboration, even pakuita maprograms haugoni kuti uzviite wega. Saka strength yema-different organizations inoita kuti zvinhu zvibudirire. Iye zvinezvi tingangoti zvakabudirira nekuti tiri kutaura zvedu zvinhu kuti hazvina, asi generally takamaneja kuti tiite reach out mucommunity. Saka isusu tinoda kuti titende imimi mese paparticipation yenyu, totendazve isusu pachedu tinozvitenda nekuti taticollaborate, nokuti tachiziva kuti uyu ane strength yakati, uyu ane strength yakati.
We are now at the official end of this project as far as it is concerned. But many people, especially the beneficiaries, are asking me, would want to know what happens after this. Is there any life, any support that you shall be continuously giving unto them, or they should not be able to self-sustain? Where do they go from here now?
In some areas, they will be able to self-sustain, like the sewing and the other projects, Matarenda and so on. They will be able to self-sustain. But in other areas, they still need support. And we believe that through the publicity that we have given them and the visibility that the community has had, there are so many development partners out there. They will be able to come in and also assist them. Not forgetting our own government. You heard that the Ministry of Health partnered us in also providing vaccinations and so on. And we are going to come up with a policy brief out of this project that is going to be accessed by all the stakeholders. And we believe that government and other local partners will also be helping this community.